we actually have a special guest speaker tonight that couldn't be here in person, but wanted to say a few words to all of you. He's been the director of National Public Radio's All Things Considered for some 15 years. He is also the creator and the host of NPR's All Songs Considered. And it is with great pleasure that I would like to introduce live via Skype, Bob Boilen.
Thanks, Dave. This is what you call meeting in our world. I've worked with people for 15 and 16 and 18 years. I've never seen their faces, and that's true of Dave and me. We've talked a bunch on the telephone. We've talked via Skype. We've talked on the cell phone. We've probably chatted and emailed, and I have no idea what you look like. And this is sort of really typical of the way the whole project with Tiny Desk Unit went, and the way it went with making this whole RPM challenge. I mean, this has been such a powerful experience. The RPM challenge has been for me and for all the band people who put this together. And I'm sure, I have no idea how many people are sitting in the auditorium there, but I bet everyone. A bunch of Michael Barron and Susan Mumford, they're friends of mine. We met in the late 70s. I quit my job and I sold my car, and I was determined to join a band. In a couple of months, we started a band called Tiny Desk Unit, and we used to crawl up a fire escape into a jazz loft in Washington and practice. And it's so different than having just done this project, where Michael lives 3,000 miles away from me, and we were able to make music. In fact, we made a live album when we were a band, and we made an EP when we were back. We never made a whole album before, and it took the RPM challenge to sort of inspire us to make an entire record of new material that was so fantastic to do. We had back in January lost our drummer Lorenzo Pee-wee, as we call him, Jones, and Susan, the singer, and the bass player, Terry, and I got together for the first time. We hadn't seen each other in 10 years easily. And it sort of inspired us to do this. I was walking down the hall at NPR. I guess it must have been like the third week of January, just after Lorenzo died, and a friend of mine, Mike Katz, came up to me and said, "You hear about this RPM challenge?" And he told me about it, and I thought, this is it. This is perfect. And I contacted Michael Barron across the coast. He's the guitarist. I sort of do mostly synth stuff and electronics. And he said, I said, "You want to do this record?" He said, "Sure." I mean, not even a hesitation. And it's a friendship that we had that, we were in our 20s back then, and very different people, and sort of prone to doing things that didn't really always focus on the music. You know what I mean? Sort of self-destructive before its time, but there was there's a real creative power between Michael and myself, and along with Susan, and this challenge brought that back together for us. It was, and the music felt as inspiring and vital as it did for me back then, and I can't quite understand how that can be true, but it really was. And I want to just thank the RPM folks for just putting it out there for us to do this. And that is so powerful. So thank you. And I'd like to thank you. I direct All Things Considered. I've been doing that for about 18 years, and started this music show, All Songs Considered, about 8 years ago. And a couple of things have happened over the years. I started in my day when the first studio I walked into was $250 an hour. And that probably is still true. I haven't been in a 24-track or 48 or 177-track studio in a while. I don't know what they charge, but it's really expensive. And one of the beauties of being able to make music anymore, and one of the things that I hear is I get the 200 and 300 CDs in a week that we go through and sift through to make All Songs Considered, and something I'll tell you later about, which we do called Open Mic, is there's a very, very personal sound that's coming out of records being made in people's bedrooms and kitchens and backyards and any of the spaces you can think of that you imagine that you made your music in. And I'm not sure that over the years the craft of making music has gotten better. But what's really happened and I see it in people making music at home and in this RPM challenge and the things I've heard online, is that you can be inspired, you have an idea, and you try it, and it's recorded. And then you put it out for people, and you put it out for friends, and then you make it better. And so there's a deeper, more personal quality to music that I'm hearing over, especially the past 5 or 6 years, than I ever did before. And that's what you're doing, and it's fantastic. And it's what's going to push the art form, because the craft was there, but the art form and the inspiration that comes from making music and making it when you want to, and not like, gosh, I got to go to the studio at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning and I got to be creative. Those days are over. And it's really good those days are over. So, I encourage you all to make great art and make great friends through your great art, because that's what this is all about. And that's why these guys set up this challenge. It's really just fantastic. For those of you who care to, All Songs Considered, this isn't a plug for the show, but All Songs Considered has something called Open Mic. We've been doing it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And we get bins and bins of CDs with Office Depot stamped on it and stuff, and little hand magic marker, labels. Anyway, send your stuff to us if you've done something that you're really proud of. And there's a form on the All Songs Considered page. I'm sure you can all find that without me having to go through web addresses and stuff. But there's a submission form on the site. And send your stuff to us, because we listen to everything. And it's fantastic to get unsigned music and put it out to people so that, tens of thousands of people can hear your stuff and hopefully get some feedback. And it's wonderful. I wish I could be there tonight. Thanks for inviting me. And thanks, Dave. It's good to meet you again.